It's recording.
It's recording?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. The thing's still.
So
But it's
Not counting down yet.
no, because I did the other one.
Oh.
Best intro ever.
I did the other one. Look, here, this is the one here. Now we're back.
Okay.
And we're back.
And we're all
I
Long
don't know.
time no see.
I don't know if it actually picked us up while that
Yeah.
thing came up a little bit. So if people are just like, you guys are stupid. We were doing that for fun.
Well, we are stupid though.
True.
well, sometimes.
We all
Speak
got
for
coffee
yourself.
though, so
Yeah,
Yeah, so
Oh yeah.
because we all were together last night
yeah.
recording Dylan's
Yeah.
Finding Paradise.
Dylan.
You especially stayed up late, Ethan.
I know. I stayed
You
up
guys
till
had
I didn't go to bed
Yeah,
till
you went to
about
the
1
after
o'clock.
party, and we're old, so
I'm
we
30. I
left.
can't be staying up till 12:30.
Yeah.
That's for those kids.
So in addition to our what do we want our
Well, I'm drinking.
that I'm
cream
calling
ale.
the downers,
pistachio cream ale.
we also have coffee to get us through.
Because we like to turn up, but we're a little tired.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And then I had to
Everyone's
switch
experienced.
coffee mugs because this says UFTA.
So
And my shirt
I got
has the Minnesota State.
This pretty flowery guy.
What do I want to say? Shows the
You got your official.
Says
Man,
home.
that's really
It says home.
Just off the rails, just immediately.
Were there rails to begin with?
No,
I don't think there
No,
was.
no.
some shows have rails. Ours is
Nah,
just like.
it doesn't.
Honestly, it's more like we've got like
we
rails.
blaze our own trail.
Yeah.
That's more what we're. There's been none of that.
Mm-mm.
So no, not even excuses. Jesus.
Anyway, so I needed to have my coffee mug match my T-shirt. So you got the nice flowers.
So I got the one with flowers.
Well, I mean, you got Colorado, and I don't know.
That's true.
I like the
There-
flower mark,
Nature,
but I already,
nature,
yeah.
nature.
I already drank
There's a
out of the
shitload of
Beast
flowers
one
like
as
this
far
growing
as-
these
Yours says
mountains.
dirty heads and beast. And
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's perfect
So
match.
perfect. We all match.
I think
our
bison
coffee
have
mugs.
dirty heads.
That's true.
I've seen them.
Yeah.
They're gross.
Disgusting.
They roll around in dirt.
I have no idea what
You've
I've
never
shot,
seen a
I've
bison
shot a few
before?
in Red Dead.
never seen a what?
A bison?
A bison?
Yeah, look, it's a
No,
bison.
I'm talking about your shirt.
Oh, the dirty
Bison, oh
heads.
please.
Yeah, he's
I
saying
got one
bison
highway-
have dirty heads.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dirty
I
heads.
grew up on Highway 68. They got, the
Oh, yeah,
state
yeah.
park that has the buffalo.
Yeah, they're literally
Buffalo
right
or
across
Well,
the
they
yard.
didn't have buffalo when I was growing up.
No,
so,
but now they're yeah.
Yeah.
No, the dirty heads are kind of like a
Yeah.
reggae-ish
No, no,
party
dirty heads.
band.
I guess I gathered that.
I've played you
vibe
some of
from
their
there.
stuff.
Okay.
They were Pan's favorite band for a while. We saw them like 4 years in a row, I
That'd
think.
be sweet. I want to go see him sometime.
It was always a good time. It was always a fun
Slots
show.
for Revenge is a beautiful song.
It's the first time I think it was that we saw them. It was with Slightly Stupid.
Ooh.
I've never seen that much weed at a concert
I
before
believe
in my
that.
life, and
Yeah.
since it was insane.
That would make sense.
There was two white dudes with dreadlocks down to their knees. The shows hadn't even started yet, and they were leaning up against the sound booth in the middle of the open, smoking a 3-foot cone just between the two of them. It was insane.
Oh my
People
God.
had the grinders with the cranks. Like how
They
are you
were
supposed
not
to?
messing around.
Like just throwing in, like,
bowls.
half
You didn't-
pounds
I
at
didn't
a
even
time.
see joints. Everyone was smoking out of pieces, or 3-foot cones.
Good lord.
How are you grinding up that much for like bowls? That's what I'm saying. Like that's nuts.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
It's
like
just
you
like
can't
constant.
hide that.
Right.
You know, like you got a backpack on it. But they were doing that because Pan had a purse, and they're like, "Let me look in your purse." So then they just go like this. They go, "You're good."
Yeah.
And that was cops at the front. Like they
Mhm.
don't care.
No.
It was an outside event too. This is pretty cool. The venue, before we went to the first show, the year before or a couple months before, we were there for a different show at the Caboose. And I went to go get a drink at the bar, and I think I had this shirt on. And the lady was like, "Oh, are you coming to the Dirty Heads next month?" And I was like, Yeah. She goes, "Oh, you're going to love it. Last time they were here, we made them a whole big batch of pot brownies." And I was like, "Wait, you guys made it for them?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, they loved it. They can't wait to come back."
Nice. All right then.
Oh, cool.
Hmm.
It's
That's
going to
pretty
be
sweet.
fun.
Cool.
That would be a fun show.
hmm
Yeah, they were fun. Don't listen to them as much anymore, but
No. fun every now and again.
Mhm.
Yeah, like everyone. There's a on YouTube. There's a
I
Jam in the Van channel, and they do Sloth's Revenge on that. And so like it's an old video, but honestly, probably like once a month or so, I just pull that one up just 'cause it's like, oh, this is fun.
That acoustic album is the greatest album of theirs. It's so good.
Yeah.
I think that might be one of the most chill albums I've ever heard in my life.
It's good stuff.
You can put it on and anybody will be like, oh,
It's moving.
as long as you're in the sun, like just sitting there or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Good chips.
You're welcome.
Yeah, good job.
Picking good beer, good chips.
Yeah, good.
I'm on a roll.
Yeah.
I think we
Good for
mentioned
you.
it last night with this pistachio cream ale from Indeed Brewing.
I like this one. This one is you're dying.
He's joking.
You're dying.
Yeah.
Don't fall down.
Damn it.
Drink something. I don't know. You got your water? Oh,
No, he was choking on the beer.
What'd you say? Never. Well, I was going to talk about what I'm drinking, which is Blake's Hard Cider, Rainbow Seeker, Pineapple, and Sage. And I dig the can. I don't know
That's the new thing.
Like-
People are putting herbs in their beers
Jesus
now.
Christ.
but it's. I
Heikito
don't know if I
Brewery,
did
did you guys try
or-
that one? The pineapple basil?
Ooh.
That was weird. It was almost like a cross between tea and beer.
Yeah.
It was pretty
I'd
weird.
try it.
I drank a bunch of them. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to try new stuff, you know.
Are you live yet?
A little bit.
Making it?
And he's back.
Yeah. Wow.
Well,
So,
Yeah.
so we don't have like we've got a few things to talk about,
mhm.
but we're gonna be taking a little vacation betwixt like the three of us. So we're gonna be a little bit unavailable the next few weeks. We're like, yeah, so do a little catch up, and plus we're gonna change a little bit of format. Kind of when we come back, my throat is still just fucked.
Get it together, man.
Get your shit together.
Get it on again.
We're not doing this.
No.
You made a horrible choice in chips. They fucking damaged my
Oh,
throat.
no.
Hey,
Don't
you
say
just-
things you can't take back.
You just complimented me on that. And you take it all back. Fine. Whatever.
Good scooch up a little bit.
I can handle it.
There we go. That's better.
It's just like a roller coaster of emotions with me.
Anyways, vacations. You guys are going to Colorado. I'm going up to Effie.
Mm-hmm.
Effie.
Effie, Minnesota.
Oh.
For 4th of July.
Okay.
It's like an hour north of Grand Rapids.
Okay.
So you're going like that way. We're going that. Just
Yeah.
taking off.
Yeah.
Out of town.
So we gotta get our responsibilities done first.
Yeah.
Responsibilities. Much needed vacation.
Uh-huh.
So when we come back, we're gonna have like a little bit new format. Just kind of the way we do the show. So like when we do these Lil Catsups, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start out just kind of like what's new in. As we're all ex-witnesses, we'll kind of catch up a little bit on what's new in the XJW community a little bit, and kind of just briefly talk about that, and then we'll do our usual, just silly banter for a bit. Just a little cats up and get a little update going, and then we're thinking we want to try to get like some listener inputs, like when you guys are posting in the comments and stuff. We're thinking like a 10-15 minute, almost like AMA Ask Me Anything kind of format at the end, and just pop up questions, and we'll just have a little fun. And so that's what we're gonna do with like the Little Catsups episodes, and then Finding Paradise. And also those, so those will obviously be live. The Little Catsups, the Finding Paradise, those will all be recorded because people are telling their stories. So
it's hard. You don't want to have to tell your whole life story and try and make sure you're not using names. It's just it's a lot of added stress.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
So trying to simplify things a little bit and make the experience a little bit better for everybody, including sometimes especially the ones that have to edit it and piece shit together. So there's that. So Finding Paradise, those will be recorded. We'll kind of do, JW News stuff if there's any to bring up. And then kind of the lead into the show is just going to be how we know the person that we're talking with. That's going to be our little intro. Then we're going to go in. They're going to tell their story. And then at the end, again, to kind of get some community involvement, we discussed it with Dylan a little bit last night. But kind of one of the good things about the show is helping people and trying to, improve people's lives in some way. So we're going to try to wrap those up with the person giving a suggestion to, if a witness that is still in happen to come across the show or that episode and hear it, what would they like to say to them? And somebody who is out, who's been out, what would you like to say to those people? So kind of get a little bit more therapeutic, maybe. I don't know. But no, it'll be nice. It'll be cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's so we're gonna do this and then a couple weeks off. But we were talking about John Cedars. His you mentioned briefly his video.
We had talked about it, and I feel like we brought it up well before it was a thing. But like, are they going to even go back to the Kingdom Halls, or are they going to start selling them off? Because growing up, we already saw them combine a lot of. We already saw them combine a lot of congregations. They started just dissolving them all over. So like now that they've realized, well, we can do this online, are they going to start selling off all their Kingdom Halls? I mean, it was all technology anyways. Last time I was at a meeting, songs are all on TVs, and it seemed like half the meeting you were watching something on a projector, like, because they've got their whole
it's only gotten worse.
Network going. Yeah, right. So, I mean, what's really the point? And obviously, like, Cedars is so goddamn smart and well-versed, but he listed off all these pros and cons. And the cons definitely outweighed the pros for not selling the Kingdom Halls. I mean, it would basically tear down all of their theology.
Right.
The whole meeting together, community type thing would just be gone. You don't have to meet with your brothers and sisters. That would be such a relief. In some aspects, not all aspects.
Yeah.
But I mean, so I figured he was kind of leaning towards not selling, and then it got to the end, and he just all of a sudden says, like, I don't think it's a matter of if, but when. I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, because I hadn't even finished the video yet, and I was talking to a coworker about it, and I'm like, man, from my standpoint, if I like put myself in the shoes of a cult leader businessman mentality, what would I do? I would probably keep the Kingdom Halls that are in like rural areas, say like Africa, where they need to keep going, right?
We were just
Well, in Webs,
to interject super quick. So that we would know what you wanted to bring up. This video, we listened to it on the way.
As a refresher, we checked it out this morning.
Yeah. And we were just discussing that, like, very.
Yeah. Like, that was almost the exact idea that I had. Is like, we kind of talked about it. We're like, well, what if they kept Africa having Kingdom Halls, and essentially we have to fund that,
or even rural areas like around where we are. Where it's kind of hard to get internet access, or it's expensive or whatnot. And maybe just income is lower in those areas for people too.
Yeah.
But definitely inner city. I mean, what's his name? Old Elon Musk going to give us all free 5G here pretty soon or something like that.
Let's go, Elon.
So you're sitting there. I mean, you can just log in. Your inner city, log in, but don't sell your Kingdom Halls.
Why are you even doing that?
Because I'm kind of warm.
But the thing was, like,
up my shorts. And
you just want to show off your hairy legs.
Yeah. Oh, he's not even showing them off. They're way down there. I can't see them. Oh, there it is.
What?
No, I think mine be more tantalizing.
Yeah.
You know what? They're staying on the floor.
Why have you done that now, Dr.
Today?
Just being down here.
Oh, twice.
Okay, well, never mind.
All time count. It sounded like you had a number, so I was like, all right.
Right. Oh, I have no idea. I'll count this amounts of times. But my thoughts are, don't sell your Kingdom Halls. Take a few of them and start renting them out, because then you have access to new revenue. Like, you're just constantly having an income, like a flush of money. I'm sure they can pitch it some way or another, and the people that are going to stay in regardless, because that brings me to the second point. People are leaving. It's not going to stop.
Yep.
It's going to get worse. So you kind of need to hedge your bets. We need money to continue to come in. How can we swing this where we could talk the still existing witnesses that are going to stay in until the end into letting us rent these places out for businesses?
To potentially not savory businesses, JW wise.
Right.
Like,
Right.
yeah, I had kind of wondered that too, and we talked about now that we kind of went over the way that kind of stealthily stole all of the Kingdom Halls from all of the congregations around the world a few years
So that's
back.
what, yeah, I had started to remember that. Like, there's something was triggering in my brain. I'm like, there's been talk about Kingdom Hall selling off or like something for a while.
Well,
Like
where
for
was
years,
that
I feel like
concept?
almost, and maybe even like around the time I was leaving, I was trying to remember. I'm like, what were the details? So that's what we were discussing.
Right.
And I'll let you take it away. You may remember more of the details, but like how that came about.
Well, so yeah, no, I mean that when they a few years back, I'm gonna try to remember the year, but it was a few years ago. They basically had they took ownership of all the Kingdom Halls all around the world. They wrote letters to every congregation, said, "Hey, turn in the titles to us, and what we'll do in exchange is anyone that has loans with the branch office for construction that you've done on your Kingdom Halls over the years, we're going to forgive all those loans. Like, you don't owe us anything." So people are like, "Oh, cool. But you need to give us the title to your Kingdom Hall. And we need about $600-800 a month from you." For what?
Right.
Like, for
Some of them
what?
are paid off. Some
Right,
of the
these
Kingdom Halls are paid
yes.
off.
Like the one in Mankato, that's got to have been paid off for years.
I don't know. I remember it
it's
was
just
built like 90-ish.
Well, okay. So
I think I was like around 5, maybe. Remember people stayed at our house, they were doing the quick build.
So it's
'cause
25,
it
30,
was the one that
35
was
years old.
Yeah.
Like 30-ish.
It was the one that was
30-ish,
downtown
maybe.
before, right? That's
Yeah.
the one that my
Down
parents
at
got
Vine
married
Street or
at.
whatever.
Vine Street.
Yeah.
Fine.
I remember going to that one as a
Really?
kid.
But yeah.
Yeah, I always wanted to go because we built a hall. It was like when the RBC started booming, they're like, we need new Kingdom Halls and all that stuff. I remember, yeah, I helped build our new one, but I always wanted to go back into the old one. When I have dreams about like being a witness and stuff, nightmares maybe, I never dream in the newer Hutchinson Kingdom Hall. It's always the one I really grew up in as like a little kid. I can picture everything, like the chairs, the floor, and everything. It's creepy.
That's funny you mentioned like RBC. So we were cleaning shit out of my house today, and I was going through old drawers, and I found like a ton of pictures, and I actually found my old RBC like ID badge.
Oh,
So that was funny. Found that actually earlier this afternoon.
I learned how to steam vegetables on the RBC
Ooh,
job
it's a
site.
useful skill.
That was supposed to be my adult mommy time after I started having kids. Their idea was, well, start going to the RBC. Go, like, I remember like after my youngest was born or something, maybe after my second. Like, oh, that's how you can contribute and help and feel useful. Like, I was just kind of like, I felt lost. And
Right.
so like, well, join the RBC. There's stuff to do. It's like I did a little bit. Because at that time that it was an inner city Kingdom Hall was being remodeled a little bit, like on the outside or inside. I don't remember. So I came and helped with that a little bit. I remember.
I think I remember that when I was in charge of, around that time, I was in charge of estimating for first aid. So I would get like all of basically I was in charge of figuring the inventory for like Band-Aids, antibiotic, all that shit. And then ordering all of it and having it on site for the projects. So I remember this one downtown. It was like a double congregation. And I remember it was a bad neighborhood.
It's probably might have been where we were,
Mhm.
where I was at. There was four congregations in that one.
Oh, was there? There was two.
But it was
I don't.
it was definitely not all that safe.
No, they were worried about like the project all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like normally you have like site security that's like
Oh yeah.
And it's just a couple of
security.
Yeah, it's just a couple of dudes that
I forgot
wander
about that.
around with flashlight every couple of hours, like sitting there like showing each other around the parking lot and sitting back down and watching YouTube on their phones for a few hours.
Yeah.
But they were like, "This is not
Maybe
a
I was on
safe
security.
area."
Hold on, but I don't think I did overnight.
Nice.
Hold
Did they
on. No.
What?
I think I actually was like on daytime security. Maybe.
Expect me to secure anything if you don't give me a gun.
Totally forgot about that. It's amazing what comes back in
There you
your
go.
brain.
Yeah.
Watch someone be watching, be like, "No, you weren't. You were on some other department."
Well, I know for a fact that I was in charge of estimating for first aid. That was my deal.
Okay. Anyway, but
And
cool.
my overseer's name was a guy.
A guy. Good job. No
a guy
names.
Jenkins.
The guy Jenkins.
A guy named Jenkins.
Bojangles. So the Cedars video about selling off Kingdom Halls, and I can't remember exactly the point that he made.
Well, he just said that people are going to keep leaving. They're going to need money somehow or another.
Yeah,
Basically, to pay people off.
Well,
Court hearings and it's all going to fall apart. Dude, I would be surprised if it doesn't crumble in the next 10 years.
it's starting to slip.
It's kind of like speeding up.
Mhm.
It seems like.
Yeah,
I think there'll always be at least a little bit.
yeah. There's going to be like a core.
It's never gonna,
group
like-
that's never the group that you said that's never going to go away.
Yeah.
Well, because there are even earlier versions of what Russell.
There's Russellites still. There's Bible students still. There's a guy, speaking of Cedars, he's on the Lloyd Evans channel periodically. A dude, Peter Young, I think is his name. He's from New York. He was on the kind of documentary episode when they went to Warwick and stuff. But
Oh yeah.
anyway, he to this day he is a Bible student. Is the religion he adheres to. But no, one of the things that I was thinking earlier was it might destroy their theology, but only like logically, and there will still be ones that are just like, okay, you're
Because
right.
they've already destroyed it. Like how many
And that's the thing.
times?
So like
New
I
life,
I
right?
slightly disagreed with that point that he made because I was like, I don't think that many people are going to be. Oh no, we can't do it. Like I think there will be.
They'll just do whatever.
I
they
think
say.
this is going to have a little bit more push towards like pushing people towards the door, but not as much as we might give it credit for.
Yeah.
Especially because when you talk about like the sheer numbers, so if they took thousands of Kingdom Halls, and some of those are in prime real estate locations, I mean they're sitting on potentially billions of dollars
Yeah.
of Kingdom Halls. So like they could maybe keep things going for a little while.
Yeah. But that's
Just
why
on
I
that.
say like,
And
he did
people
make
will buy
the-
into it.
yeah, he did make the point. Well, you have money kind of coming in right now from the donations, but if you sell off all the Kingdom Halls, you have one lump sum of money, and that's all you have. Because basically,
then you
religion's
spend.
dead. That's why you got to rent them out.
Exactly. Yep.
Because then you just constantly have money.
Mhm.
And then that's when we got back to talking about them buying all of them or stealing all of them and then still essentially charging them rent, the congregations as it is.
Yeah.
And now they'll still continue to charge them that rent, but then they'll charge actual rent to companies or whatever they want or not. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's the smart way to do it.
It's the move I'd make.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to watch this all play out.
But who
I mean, they've
knows?
been talking about like really like batten down the hatches. We're discussing that a little bit too. Around the time, maybe a couple years before you and I left, like, they were really had started like all these like I know it's always been happening. It's around the corner. Oh, it's coming like the end. But like it's like they're really just kind of like it's now kind of thing.
Yeah.
When they started having the bunker videos and
Oh yeah, like
like that.
getting
I remember
your
like that.
to-go bag ready and
Like
Well,
I was telling
2016
Tyler.
convention, they had that entire series that led up to the bunker, and then like the end where they kicked in the door and shit. I'm like, oh my god.
I remember like that gave me anxiety.
Yeah.
for my kids being in that, because I was out then.
Yeah.
I'm just like, and like that was even part of my court documents when I went to court a couple of years ago. And because my attorney was like, holy crap, you know, because what was that sentence again? Like that statement, you remembered it.
So they said in
relation to
a
that.
Watchtower a couple years ago, it was like 2-3 years ago, they said, even if we receive advice that might not seem sound from a human standpoint,
Yeah.
like it's like, just go ahead and do it. It's okay. And because we were talking, because even now there's another, I think it's Tony Morris. There's a new Tony Morris video on JW Library where he talks about persecution and all of this, and people, like, even if we're executed, that's all right, because we know that Satan just handed us a validated passport right into the new world. And people are like, hold up, Satan's the one picking people going in? What the fuck is that? That is like very much heresy. Like he's not the one picking shit. And 2, like, that's some Jonestown shit.
No. Well, dude, that's one thing that's worried me for a while.
Mhm.
It's kind of like, because I mean, obviously, all my family's still, immediate family is still very much in. Like, we all have family. At what point do they ask them to drink the Kool-Aid?
I got
literally,
Mhm.
like,
I've got a buddy he's like mentally out, and he's still married to like a very mentally in wife, and his family, his parents, like, they're still, and he's like, that would be the breaking point for me. Because I've asked him, I'm like, so, like, what would it take? Like, when would you ever actually leave? And he was like, never, really, unless that. Like, that was kind of like his breaking point. He's like, at that point, I would have to tell my wife, like no, fucking knock it off. He's like, and he's like, I think I would have to do it because I think she would. He's like, I think I would have to, like, knock it away if she's about to drink it, because she would do it. And it's like, but we all know people that would just drink it.
Right. Yeah.
So then that's scary when you have kids in it.
Yeah.
That is scary shit, because especially since those like bunker videos came out, I've been like, whoa, worried about some kind of like Jonestown kind of thing. Right. And then, but at the same time, eventually I just had to let go of that. Especially after I went to court and that judge was, look into that with my story. There's all this clear evidence of so many different things, but, and he just kind of like shrugged at that. And then we came up with some really powerful stuff, and it's like, okay, you just kind of have to, like I've talked about before, being attached and detached with your children, and you have to go, okay, just hope for the best. Right. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Right. And or if it does, they're in my care somehow. But I also used to get worried that what if, my ex decided to just keep the kids, like just totally go against whatever is written in the decree, because it means their life, and here they are going underground, and because it's the best thing, and Jehovah's saying to do it, and and they go under, and he takes them and goes underground. Like, who knows? I don't know, but like those are things that cross my mind. I'm like, I hope it never happens. Right. And you have to kind of just let it go. Try not to think about it. You go crazy thinking about it. Yeah. So.
Well, and even with, like, we'll talk about it a little bit more with my, recent happenings, letter that I got, or text, I guess, that I got from my daughter. Yeah, we've got children in it, and the text that she sent me, that doesn't sound culty at all. Right. It's just like,
it's kind of by the book, though.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And if I were in her position, I might have said something to that
degree
too.
I'm still not sure that I buy the I'm not being told what to say.
I've been told it by my own kids in text message. That this is what I want, or that no one's telling me to say this, or I've got those two. Not to invalidate, not what I mean, but
yeah, she might not have been told exactly what to say, but it's definitely people chirping at her. Like, exactly. Well, you need to say something.
It's an adult influence
it's not
of some
someone
kind.
Speaking over her shoulder, going, write this right now.
Right. But it's everybody talking to her.
Mm-hmm.
It's the day in, day out indoctrination that is telling her to say that.
Yeah.
Where
that's
it's very obvious that they're being coached on something, or you know,
Right, yeah.
that, and I have received those kind of things too.
Right.
It's clear that.
right, and they're very much being coached as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, I don't know. There were some points that he made that I'm like, yep, spot on, and some that I'm like, I didn't necessarily disagree with the conclusion that he came to, but kind of maybe the path that he took to get there, kind of with the whole ones that it'll just destroy the theology, and I'm kind of like, they aren't gonna give a shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
We'll just have
it was a
to
good
see.
video.
Mm-hmm.
They all
Interesting
are.
for sure.
They all are.
So-
And then he just did one with Steven Hassan. I
was telling her.
Mm-hmm.
So Stephen Hassan, the developed bite model, I think it was just yesterday.
Hasn't he had him on before? So I feel like I've heard
Yeah, it
about
was a
him
couple
being on
days
there
ago.
before,
It
like
was-
Well, but
way
he did a
back.
few years ago, I
Yeah.
thought.
Well,
He
yeah,
did a
but no,
thing,
he did another one.
but they're just like
Thursday.
yesterday or the day before.
Thursday.
That was another updated one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Check it out.
I started watching that a little bit, and then he was also Stephen Hassan. He was on.
Leah
Mayim
Remini.
Bialik. Yes, he was
He's on Leah
Leah
Remini's podcast.
But and then Mayim Bialik, the Big Bang Theory Blossom when she was a kid. The one on Big Bang Theory that actually is like not an astrophysicist.
The one that dated Sheldon?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So she has a podcast. It's called Mayim Bialik's Breakdown, and she just discusses mental health and things like that.
What a wild name. That's such a cool name.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it.
Bialik.
And so, and he was on that sometime within the last few days.
Really?
So, yeah, kind of wanted to check that out.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, she's got kind of a cool show. I've just seen like little clips of it, but always seems interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
The Watchtower sign is gone from what my understanding is.
Yeah, in Brooklyn.
Gone. Now it says welcome. That's sick, dude.
That's funny.
That's so cool.
Booted them right out of Brooklyn.
Yeah, they go.
Out.
It's still big red letters, but it just says welcome.
Yeah.
Nice.
So much nicer.
Hell yeah. So speaking of nicer things, so you came out last week.
Yeah. I bit the bullet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so to speak.
right. Well, I mean, it's just we've done a few episodes of this, and I still hadn't even plugged it on my own page, my
I
own
hadn't either.
personal Facebook page, just
Yeah.
because I didn't have the balls to do it.
Fucked up. So weird.
So I gave him a tug,
Mm-hmm.
and I just wrote a nice long post. And the people like saying things, commenting, and messaging me has just been overwhelming. I didn't expect that. Like, I expected some people to be like, "Oh, cool, good for you." But I mean, kids from high school and people from a long time ago that I was friends with is awesome, and they want to come onto the podcast now.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, shit, why didn't I do this earlier? Type thing,
Right.
But I mean, whatever, no regrets. I'm glad that I did it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's a friggin' weight lifted.
Well, it was funny
Because now I really don't care.
Well, you
I
and I
don't
were
give a
talking
shit.
like the night before or something, and you were like, I've been thinking like maybe I need to just put something out on Facebook and just kind of
Yeah.
make an announcement and share the page. And then like I wake up the next morning, it's like that was a long post. So
Well,
It was
I mean,
good.
I figured
yeah,
I
no,
had
it was
to really
it was
just
great.
I mean, there was stuff I obviously forgot to put in there,
Yeah.
like the fact that I've been out for 7 years already. Because it seems like some people were like, man, you've had a rough year. I was like, well, hold on a second. Yes, I have had a rough year. It's been a lot of this, but I've been out of this for 7 years.
Right.
Mhm.
So it still sucks, obviously. It will never not suck, but learn to cope,
Mhm.
which we've been over multiple times.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, to the people that reached out to me, thank you. That's
Yeah.
so cool. Nice hearing from all those people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and even like I've shared a few things, and any response that I've gotten has always been super positive, and
Right.
I've gotten some really
Oh.
nice messages on.
And I think I only lost 2 friends because I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna like see how many friends I have.
I have an app
Before I
that keeps
did it.
track and like identifies like who they are if they.
Oh, now I'm back up. So whatever. I could tell you later.
Didn't
one
Jesus
of the
say like
friends I
you'll get
lost.
like 100-fold back or something?
Oh,
yeah.
Wasn't it if you
Give
go
me them
find
abundance.
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, something.
Oh, well.
No, if you give up like however many, like I think.
Is
like,
it if
basically
you go
friends and
find
family.
like the one that's lost?
No,
you only
it's
have
the sheep.
99. It's like how would what?
No, that's the lost sheep.
Wait, what?
Where are we going with this?
I was talking about the. Not that. That's not what I was talking about.
Never mind.
That was a different parable.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna like say that you have to do something like that on your own personal social media. You really don't. It's no
I
one.
kind of did years
It's
ago.
no one's business, but it definitely does feel good
Mhm.
after you get over it. Because at first it's kind of like,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
then you just post, and you're like, oh, it's done. I'm done.
Mhm.
It's out there.
Well, and you did kind of a similar thing on Facebook last
Yeah.
week. 2
Well,
weeks ago.
I don't know if I'd call it similar, but
Well, I suppose his was more of a, hey, this is me.
yeah,
You did it.
I had one of those like years ago.
Yeah.
That I did, but I guess what you're referencing is I just had this idea.
Facebook shit.
It's Facebook, yeah, but I just had this idea of I wanted to get the perspective of maybe how I was perceived as a Jehovah's Witness
Oh yeah.
growing up from people that knew me when I was.
That word Jehovah's
Yeah, or
Witnesses.
like questions they had, or like just their observations in general. And I didn't think I'd get much traction with it at all, honestly. Like I didn't think I was going to hear much, but it promoted some really good conversation, I feel. And I mean, it might get into it another Catsup or something. I don't know how much I'll go into it this time around. But also with the intention of putting that out there to use on our podcast.
Oh yeah.
But one kind of theme I saw in there that I hadn't really thought about is my old classmates and stuff. They're like, well, we missed you at all these different things, these holiday celebrations and birthdays, and we didn't understand fully. And like, why weren't you there? Like, we wished you were there. Or some who felt like they weren't a good enough friend to me, and that's why I didn't hang out with him. Like, they just couldn't understand why I would go hang out with these witness friends, on the weekend. They'd hear about it, but they weren't good enough for my time outside of school.
Worldly kids.
And I was like to think of, like, it had never really occurred to me, those different perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was really interesting. Then some, had specific questions on why are you doing this or not this, or so that I can get into, I feel like a different time, but
right.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun reading that post and reading through the comments, and I even interacted with a couple of people just a little bit.
Yeah,
Shared, like,
and some people
just
messaged, like, private messaged me, and we had some good conversation.
Yeah,
and somewhat through that was kind of a first exposure, maybe me to your Aunt Laura.
Oh, well, she's my cousin. Yeah.
Her cousin.
Yeah. She's my second cousin. Yeah.
Close.
She's kind of like an aunt. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that is an interesting take. Or it would be fun to hear their takes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
I feel like I could dive more into that a little more when I'm
not
so tired.
I feel that. I just want to I'll just cover this real quick. I was supposed to get all my landscaping done today.
Yeah.
My friend was supposed to come over.
That guy, he didn't even show up.
He didn't show up, which is great because I had no intentions of actually doing the landscaping. I took a 10 o'clock a.m. nap.
Those are the best.
After I ate some hot dogs for breakfast.
Yes.
Got up, played some Biomutant, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go buy a pool.
Yeah.
So I went and bought a $30 pool. Got a nice umbrella set up. Bought a bunch of water balloons. That's what I'm really looking forward to doing after this. Just sitting in the sun. And it's sunny till 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I can just sit out there and get drunk if I feel like it. I don't think I'm going to get drunk tonight, though.
Maybe a little.
I'm still tired from last night.
Yeah. No, when we got here, like, I walked out in the back, like walking through the kitchen. I was like, oh, They're waiting in a pool in the backyard. Where the hell are they?
Throwing water balloons up.
Like,
I was trying to see how high I could throw the water balloon up and then let it land in the pool before it would actually explode in the pool. Doesn't happen.
Could have been a science experiment there.
It was. I was trying to science it up.
Like a 5th, 6th grade science, what was it called? Not science. I mean, it's
Science fair?
Science fair.
Hey.
There it is.
Oh, my brain's gonna work sometime today. Although the day is kind of wrapping up.
Yeah, we're getting towards the end. We're creeping up on her. It's almost bedtime. Almost. It's 5:53.
Jesus Christ! Almost 6 o'clock already.
2 hours left.
Mm.
Just kidding.
Some of these kids stay up until 10. You know that?
Yeah.
Wow, they're crazy.
Yeah.
Back in my day.
Wild.
So then, yeah, I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about your post from Facebook then, as to kind of like your JW school years a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The hair there, I'm just going to get rid of that. And then that kind of brought us to, well, we could kind of summarize. We have briefly mentioned a few times that there's like a lost episode of Lil Catsups, like episode 1.5 was supposed to be episode 2, but anyway. And we're kind of like, fuck it, that one's gone. We're just, we're not going to deal with that anymore. But so a little bit of the things that we were talking about with that. Specifically you
kind of started to bring up me more in that podcast.
Which we're going to do your story next.
Coming up.
Yeah, after vacation, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to follow through on that.
You're going to give your muzzle tongue.
Oh, how dare you spill alcohol and waste it.
I got the rest. It's okay.
Is it leaking? Is it?
Oh, yeah, it's all over, but it's just a door.
Oh, shit.
Anyways.
This is a podcast door. It's fine.
As long as it doesn't hit electrical stuff.
It's a real fake door. It's
yeah. That's why I keep these back behind my chair.
For spills.
Yeah.
Good thinking.
So, So.
Nice.
All right.
Anyways.
Well, where are we?
So you're gonna give our next, like we recorded with
Finding
Dylan,
Paradise.
now we're gonna record with you coming up after vacation.
Yeah. So we got a few weeks now till I'll give my story. But we had started to mention some of the stuff that was going on with me back then. That was like February, March.
Yeah, February, March, April-ish.
And I still don't know how much I should really say about it, but there was just a lot of crap going on at that time. And kind of my ex-husband trying to like prove a point kind of thing. Like, I don't know. But I guess the biggest, I still don't know how to summarize this. I was dealing, when my middle son was dealing with anxiety a lot, and he was throwing up before school and refusing to go to daycare. And so then I don't work every day during the week. I work a few days during the week. So he was old enough where he could get himself on the bus. But he was having issues where then he was like having anxiety, and he'd have a panic attack before. And we were trying to figure out, is the bus, is it the school, is like, what's going on? Like, I don't know. But he was not faking it. He was throwing up. And so then, the COVID stuff, then you're like, oh.
Yeah, you can't just go back to school the next day.
Right, yeah.
So it got tricky. But I have to, notify their dad that he maybe, for a while there, he wouldn't go to school then, and he'd do distance learning. But then his dad was like calling the cops on me and trying to do like a welfare check, and then just all this confusion, like all this. We'd say he.
Well, he would call the cops because like would call your son.
Where was that?
So he would call you like, I'm getting sick, and so
I tried to talk him through it. Yeah,
try to talk to him, but then your ex-husband, he would just call the police. Not even contact.
Sometimes
your
wasn't even
son.
Contacting my son first, and like, that's gonna help anxiety. Sure.
Yeah, you haven't even talked
Please
shit,
don't
and now a cop shows up. You called your mom. I'm sick. I can't go to school. Next thing that happens, a cop shows up.
Mm-hmm.
what kind of shit is that? So anyway,
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
is what it is.
So it got
That's kind of shit.
and dealing with CPS stuff off and on since like last October. That will probably just cover in my story, but just a lot of like up and down with that, and then or he would need I don't know where he would need to do like COVID testing and like trying to get that to work, and then not wanting to put things in writing and wanting to do voicemails, and I'm like, or go out and talk to him directly. I'm like, no, because if there's no paper trail, then it's my word against his word, and that has never gone well, and always bites me. So
just like a general uncooperativeness, like uncooperativeness. I don't know if that's
That's sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
I knew
just
what
kind of
you
like
meant.
the gist of it. Like he would.
at one point he was told me
combative.
I don't need to know the whereabouts of my kids as well.
Oh,
Like, he
fuck
dealt
that.
with, and
Yeah, my ex told me the same thing.
so that one I
Bullshit.
kind of called his bluff a little bit. I'm like, fine, and I showed up, and I said I was going to show up, and my kids weren't there, and I knew he was going to kind of pull something like that where he wasn't there. He's like, it's like, and then he wasn't answering. Then I called my son, and my son's like, I can't tell you where I am. I'm like, what do you mean? And then like hearing the stepmom in the back saying like, yeah, the phone, I'm gonna talk to your mom, and she can call us. And I'm like, but you're not getting back to me, and I can talk to my son when I want, kind of thing. I'm like, that sends off some alarms. I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm gonna call the cops myself. And so they were doing their report and everything. They were taking it very seriously, and then enrolls my ex-husband, and they're kind of like, I think they're so funny, and like, no. And then there was a confrontation there, and I was just like, I was trying to keep my cool. I'm like, just leave. So like, I got my kid back, and it's just been a roller coaster. And we got through, and eventually I worked something out with the principal where if my son was having these issues and refused to go to school, these panic attacks, then the principal and the social worker were coming to pick him up to help get him to school. So that kind of worked for a little bit.
That's nice.
To get us through the end of the school year. I'm like, can this school year just be over? Because there's been so much crap. I'm at my wit's end here.
That's so nice of them.
Yeah,
To take special interest.
Mm-hmm.
It worked. It got him to school, and sometimes he would give them a hard time too, or be emotional or about it. And we got into family therapy because their dad kept denying consent or wanted to be like in the mix of it, or would say only if he gets to select it, but he'd never submit names of a therapist that he would be okay with. So I was like, so to get around, I just took him to family therapy, and with me, so it's under me. Since it's under me, it's not under them, and we can work on our own family dynamics,
right,
with me and my children.
Yep.
So that has helped some too, and my son was dealing with a mild concussion too, and amongst all this, and went through PT. That's what it came to, and that got better. But we got through the school year. We got through it, and he's doing better. He's getting to see his friends, and he's happier. But he still struggles with things. But that was more of a summary than I meant to say. But
that was good.
But
that was still pretty quick.
Yeah. So I've been dealing with a lot of my own legal stuff, and now he's been kind of quiet, and I'm like, I never trust that. Ever. So
well, I don't remember if we covered it in an episode before, but my oldest daughter, she was having trouble. She was trying to get computer built. This was a project that she wanted to do, and she was having issues getting it finalized, and I had offered to help her, I don't know how many times. And so I told her, like, you need to do this, this, and this. So Google this, and it'll tell you how to do it. And so then she called me or texted me a little bit later. She texted me a little bit later. Like, oh, we got it figured out. I was like, oh, well, cool, good for you. And it's like, blank, her ex-husband.
Oh, yeah.
Showed me how to do it. I'm like, what?
You're like, all right. Well, clearly they're trying to goad us. You're like,
so I'm like, all right. I was like, whatever, good for you.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just like, my kids have never had any interaction with your ex-husband.
Yeah, not that I really know. I mean,
but now apparently they have him on speed dial to, fix computer problems.
Yeah, because they're petty as fuck, and they're just trying to get under your skin.
Mm-hmm. Which isn't really working all that
well.
Our
exes are communicating back and forth. Oh, you know what they're up to today.
It's like, all
Bullshit like
right,
that.
well,
Whatever.
I think
yeah.
Whatever.
Whatever works for you.
Well, I think we're all just realizing how petty they actually are. I mean, like I said, I wasn't going to talk about it too much until it's finalized, but like finding out, I'll talk about it next time. But like my family's been lying to my actual parents, saying that I've been reaching out to them and like trying to get them to come into my group and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? And absolutely have not been reaching out. Like that's just a blatant lie.
Well, because my ex is your side, like that side of the family, and she's giving me the same shit. Like, and stop reaching out and trying to contact members of my family to be on your podcast.
Never.
Who? I literally have never done that. So I asked her last week.
Yeah.
I just flat out, after you told me that your mom asked you or said that to you.
Yeah.
I was like, who the hell is this that is saying that we're like reaching out to them?
No
so
response.
I emailed her. I had to email her something about child support. I was like, oh, and by the way, when you mentioned this before, who are you talking about? Because whoever this is lying, because we've never spoken to anyone, and Ethan's getting the same questions from his mom.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's a fucking lie.
Right. Like you don't have an answer because there isn't one.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I don't know. I don't know if I had a thought, but I don't know if I should.
I mean, maybe you should.
I don't know if I should say it.
Yeah. I mean, we can edit it if you.
That's true. About pettiness and backstabbing stuff. You know, how we kind of figured out who even like turned us in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I don't know if I should.
Oh, I think we covered that in the mystery episode.
No,
I don't know because this week
because this was like somewhat sensitive information,
mm-hmm.
like how it got back to me.
Yeah, and how we figured out
like how the elders found
the elders knew about us. Not that we were trying to hide anything.
Yeah.
It's like whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
it was
it was a little bit of an accident, and I know, like the person that told my mother, does not bother me at all, like at all. But it's what my mother did, right. And so, but it also like just shows how it can be your own child, and they'll just flip on you like just instantly. You know, like she didn't come to me at all and ask anything. Like, hey, is this? I mean, tracked down. Like, hold on, who's? Because I'm like, we hadn't really made anything public. Like, who was even? Yeah. Like talking how, you know, and then we'd
only been dating a few weeks.
Yeah, I
don't think it was even a month.
I don't remember. it was I know it was quick. On the newer side for sure. We're like, oh, okay, well, guess cats have eggs, so what? But then tracked it back to
it was like second week of January or something. It was pretty new.
Yeah. Yeah, we figured out that it was my mother went to. We can edit this out, I guess.
My father.
Went to your dad. Went to your dad. And coincidentally, that's like her favorite elder, I think, because when I was going through my separation and everything was going on, just going to shit with my marriage, she went to your dad and like turned me in kind of thing. So he was on my case.
Well, he is easy to get along with. He's
approachable.
Yeah. We're witnesses.
Yeah. He was one of my favorite elders.
Yeah.
When I was in.
Yeah.
Your parents, I definitely hung out with them, and I don't even know where to go with that. It just takes me down a rabbit hole.
So that was, definitely, like you said, petty and just like, what the hell? Like, you don't want to have any part in anyone's lives because, as we talked about before, like we texted them like, hey, what if we just like showed up and watered some plants on Saturday and just like helped out a little bit? And it took them a week. And to see different text messages, and finally be like, "No, sorry, we've been busy." And blah blah. Like, no, you haven't been busy. You've been ignoring it, and then you got called out. And now you had to act like.
That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes.
Absolutely. For sure, that's how it goes with everybody.
Yeah,
But it's just like that's the response you get with that. Like, you're actually trying to be like, "Hey, would you mind we come and help out a little bit. But then you have that level of like you think you need to have that level of involvement in my life,
Right.
Yeah, you can turn
So-
around and try to backstab me like
Yeah.
that.
So
And I've been on the fence whether to confront you on it or not. But also at the same time, why?
Yeah.
Because the way it's always been is you bring something up and it just goes nowhere.
mhm.
You just end up more frustrated and it's like, yeah, maybe I won't.
Right.
You'll just let it sit, whatever. But it was interesting how we tracked it all down. And I was like, I should have known. Should have known it was my mother. I mean, we're 99.9%
Right.
sure.
I guess we
Because
should
I have
say-
not confronted her on it, I can't say with 100% certainty. But
It's like 90
all arrows
right
kind of
there.
go in that direction.
All roads lead to Rome.
Yeah.
So that, and then what else?
You got your.
Grad- what?
Oh, okay. You're still on me. Okay.
Yeah. So that, I think that's the last bit about you. Is like the graduation.
We went to
party
my
you
cousin's
to.
graduation
That was fun.
party. Got to see some extended family, because not all my family are witnesses. My brother showed up.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry, I was just surprised.
Well, I got one brother, so
Yeah.
deduce that. Anyway,
But
so it was the first time I got to see my nephew.
yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that.
He's been alive
that
for
look, yeah.
like a year. I don't
Yeah.
know. And my niece, haven't seen her since like one of the funerals. I think I don't know.
Yeah,
family
there's-
funeral.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Did they stay and get drunk around the campfire?
He never said hello.
Oh.
But I don't like go out
Never
of my.
said hello.
I
Well, I
yeah,
expected.
to be fair, I didn't
that.
go to say hello either.
Yeah, I didn't go either. It's like, what's the point? I get it. So, but you got to sit around and talk with some of my family, and some of my family knows some of the same people, and so that's kind of interesting because some are kind of around it and witness stuff. But it was nice to just go there and have my kids even be around kind of just normal things. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah, just like
can
normal
see,
exposure to
yeah,
cool
and I
shit.
can see my oldest was even like,
Digging it.
yeah, it's like this is interesting. You know, he's almost 14, and I'm like, well, expose him to some of the stuff, and
Right.
I'm sure they came back with some stories for the
Yep.
dad that I might hear about. But hey, nobody was harmed. Nobody was
I
harmed.
sent you some Snapchats that I don't remember sending.
We were going to bed on time,
We
and then
were.
we got sucked
That's
into
the
doing
thing.
fireballs.
God.
My
Well.
kids were in bed.
Yeah. Kids were in bed. We were like, should we just go to bed? And we were like, fuck it, let's go to
We're
bed.
like, yeah, we're tired.
Let's go over the fire, tell everyone good night.
And then my
And then
uncle
we're gonna-
roped me into fireballs.
And then like 10, 12 shots later, I'm
No, I didn't have that many.
You
You
didn't.
did.
I did.
I would have
You
that. I
had
could,
that much?
I
You
could
don't
not-
even drink that
after
much.
bedtime. Like after we were ready to go to bed, and I had
so that didn't go so
Jeez.
well.
probably had like 4 or 5 beers throughout like the evening, just hanging
I didn't
out.
really drink up until that point, and then
No,
I had like
was
a few shots.
wrecked.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's
It's an
why-
obstacle
And
course.
then and then my oldest wanted to at like 1 a.m. I can't sleep.
Yeah.
I'm like, crap.
And that's what I said. Like yesterday,
Like, oh no.
I didn't
Everybody's
realize
just
that. Like we were
toasted.
sitting there at the fire, and I was talking, and all of a sudden I felt like this. And it's her oldest. I was like, "Oh shit!
You're
Hello,
supposed to be in bed.
What are you doing?
Why are you poking my head?
Mom is off duty.
Yeah.
This is adult time now.
And shortly after that, I was wandering back to the tent and
Anyway,
Stumbling back. to
stumbling and dragging
So they-
by the
they-
trees.
so they had some interesting
Exposure.
scenarios. An exposure. They had fun. They said they had a great
The
weekend.
next morning, I don't think you were there yet. We were all sitting around the fire there. Well, what remained?
My mom's side of the family, this was normal. Like when I was growing up, like sitting around a bonfire and drinking and bullshitting and up until late at night. That was normal. I appreciated that normalcy.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to be able to show my kids some of that sometimes.
Right.
Well, yeah,
It's been
that's
rare. It's been
important.
really rare. I've been able to show them something. Like
Well,
that.
they
to
didn't
show
seem
that,
like
too.
put off by it the next morning either. The next said something like, "Mom was a little tipsy last night." I was like,
I mean, I didn't
we'll go
hide
with
it.
that.
I didn't hide. I was like,
"Right, that was funny."
and my uncle just kept saying, "Everyone's safe here. Everyone's fine. Like, don't worry about it." I know. You just took a little beer and you're like, oh, great. This isn't going to make me look too good right now. Oh, well. So it goes.
No, whatever. That's how life is.
No, it was a good time. And like you said, they had fun. And it was
They went four-wheelers.
Four-wheelers, kayaking.
Yeah, they had so much fun.
So,
It was just nice. Nice to be able to do that. I guess you can kind of go into your stuff. I don't know if you want to talk about like our personal.
Yeah, we can.
You want to do that later? I
Yeah,
don't
so
know.
we're getting it. Well,
Okay.
so maybe we can kind of segue into my stuff with that. So, like, yeah, we went camping with them last weekend for your cousin's graduation. We're going camping next weekend.
Going tubing and camping
We're
with the
going tubing
boys.
and camping, and so we're going to do that for like overnight Saturday to Sunday here next weekend.
Just a short
Just
time.
a short trip
Mhm.
down by Lanesboro. And so we're going to go do a little tube down there. And yeah, actually today we were moving the bulk of the rest of my shit from my house to her place. So I'm moving in there to New Prague, letting Elise go. My youngest, she has always kind of been on board with like coming over, and she wanted to be like 50-50 at my house and then at her mom's house. And like that was kind of what she'd always, well, what both my kids always said. Then when it came to me actually having my own place, she wasn't there 50-50, but she wanted to be there like, it was probably 2, maybe 3 days a week, a little bit, like 2 days a week. And then it kind of ended up, then it was like, 1 day a week. And then it was like, 1 day every other week. And then it was like, it just kind of like tapered off until a week and a half ago.
Was it last week only? 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I don't remember
it was
now.
a week and a half ago.
Since the last time we recorded,
which was 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So like 10 days ago, she texted me that she didn't want to come over anymore. She doesn't want to be at my place. She's trying to progress towards baptism, and I'm no longer active in the truth, and that I knew the consequences when I chose to leave Jehovah and all this. And so I was like, oh.
Yeah, she felt that associating with you was not the best. She's staying with you, but she wasn't completely opposed to hanging out with you.
She'll still talk to you and things. She's like, but I don't think coming over there and the regular association is good for me, is essentially what she said.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
And your oldest won't come over at all.
Yeah, she hasn't been over in months. She's been over like twice. But yeah, so I was like, well, and we were there last weekend, and my landlord was kind of like,
or was it 2 weeks? It had been 2 weeks ago because we were out of town.
So 2 weeks ago before we went to, we were talking to I was talking to my landlord, and she's like, she knows you're like not there. Yeah, she knows I'm never there. It's
only come back when your girls.
Like I rent a house in her backyard, basically. Mm-hmm. So they know when I'm there and when I'm not. And she's like, you have this year lease. Do you want a year lease? She basically offered to let me out of the lease early.
Yeah.
Like, well, maybe. And then it was later that week that I got the text. Oh, well, yep, I guess I'll exercise that option. And because there's no reason for me to pay $1,000+ a month for nothing.
Right.
So that I can have a place there just in case they ever want to come and do something. I was like, no, it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If they want to come and hang out, they want to do something, we'll meet up in Mankato. We'll get some ice cream. We'll do whatever. I don't. Or they can come stay at our place. We'll figure it out. We'll get an Airbnb. I don't know. We'll figure something. But there's no reason for me to have a house, a 3-bedroom house, just sitting there empty.
It's complete opposite direction from your job too.
Yeah,
it's like why?
That's 82 miles from my office. Jeez. Our place is 15.
We never even got to have a housewarming party.
I know what I was saying. That's why I was like, God damn, you should come and help us get shit out of there. So at least we can like sit there and drink beer while we're moving stuff out.
Well, maybe when we take the furniture.
Yeah, we're still not done moving out yet.
Yeah, you still got an opportunity.
Yeah, okay.
Not all is lost.
Yeah, very much there.
Yeah, so you got added to the lease and.
Yeah, so this week filled out rental application, and so now I'm officially on her. Well, will be. Mm-hmm. It was approved. Got to put in some kind of filing fee and shit like that, and then it'll be added. But yeah, so then, and again, kind of with like the child support stuff, and with them, at most it was going to be a year and a half with my oldest, maybe 2 years, a while back. But I mean, she's been 16 for a couple months already.
Yeah.
And my youngest, she's 14 now, so at most it's going to be 3.5 years or so. Like,
Yeah.
it is what it is. And in 3-4 years, they'll both hopefully have woken up to the idea that they're in a cult. It's a little bit disturbing that my youngest is like, I'm trying to progress toward baptism. I was kind of hoping she would wake up to it being a cult before she got to that, so that she can walk away and still maintain the possibility of, like, you know, people not treating her like shit when they run into her at the gas station, at least.
All things
stuff
considered,
that.
though, like I've said a couple times before, I mean, it's been a pretty wild year for you too, you know, and them. Like,
Yeah,
there's
for
been
sure.
a lot of changes, and the
A lot
only
of
thing
them.
that's been consistent is being a witness or whatever. That's the only thing that hasn't really changed in their own eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously to us it has, but I mean,
I
get it.
don't blame them
I
at
get it.
all.
they're young.
Yep.
So that's why we
Statistics
kind of
say
decided,
they're gonna,
or Tyler decided, like, we're not going to push.
right.
We'll just,
Exactly.
the door's open. We both, especially Tyler, you know, want to support being, so they know that we're still there for them. Tyler's
Right.
still there for them.
Yeah, I'm not like leaving at all. And that's what I'm going to tell them. Be like, look,
Mhm.
you guys know, and I've told you so many times, that, like, I want to be with you as much as possible. I would like to be with you 50-50. That can't be the case. I understand it. You guys don't want to be around. Fine. You know, still here. Anything you need, let's meet up and have supper or get ice cream or something, you know, once a month or every couple of weeks or something. Just kind of pitch that at them and just kind of see what happens. Because oddly enough, and no, there's another friend I was talking about. My oldest, she has never been like talkative at all. It's like pulling
She's pretty
teeth.
introverted.
She is very much so.
Mhm.
And so, but like, even to get her talking on the phone is just like pulling teeth. To get like a 30-second conversation out of her is like just brutal. It's just like, you know, how you doing? Good. How was your day? Fine. You know, what'd you do?
Also kind of teenager,
Right.
Yeah.
Too,
But I mean, she does it even to a little bit more extent.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of like, okay. And finally, I'm like, okay, well, cool, like, good talk, I guess. And, you know, but she's called me a couple times in the last week or two. And the other night she called and we talked for like 15 minutes.
Wow.
Like, she called me herself because she was like, hey, she's like, did you know they're restocking PS5s at Walmart and Target tomorrow? And I was like, no. Cool. She's like, yeah. She's like, I was talking to my boss and he was telling me that he's going to go to Mankato and he's going to try to grab one at Walmart. She's like, and I remembered that you had wanted one, so I wasn't sure if you knew that they were restocking or not.
Oh.
I was like, oh, cool. Like, thanks. Like, it's kind of interesting. And so, yeah, we ended up just talking for 10, 15 minutes.
Cool.
So that was kind of nice. It was different. Like, I was like, all right. I kind of feel like an ass for you a little bit. I felt kind of like, what's she gonna ask for? Like,
Right.
like, I almost feel bad thinking that. But based on the track record and what things have been, especially over the last, like, that's kind of what I expect.
Yeah.
I was kind of waiting for, like, okay, what's she buttering me up for?
Like, did she want me to buy her a PS5?
Exactly. That was my first thought. Exactly. I was like,
Yeah.
she's going to ask me to buy her a PS5. And then she's like, I know that you had been talking about looking for one. And I'm still thinking, all right, she's still buttering me up. Then she's going to be like, and if you're going to get one for you, maybe. Like, I'm just waiting.
Yeah,
And then
right.
it's like, no, this is just a good,
That's
wholesome
a
conversation.
good start.
Yeah, like, it was
That's-
awesome. So, no, it was
a
great.
positive thing for
Yeah.
sure.
So that was cool.
Mhm.
See, they're
yeah.
already coming around.
We'll see what happens.
Let the waves settle a little.
Well,
Let
I'm
it
kind of wondering if, because she was always like more hesitant, and then the youngest was kind of more open, and so I almost wonder if some of that has just kind of shifted, and if maybe she's seen my youngest kind of like pull back, and so then she's maybe.
But you're not going off on either one of them. You know,
right.
you're just
I'm
like,
just kind of letting
okay.
them go, and so I wonder if she maybe even sees some of the. I don't know if you want to say hypocrisy or just kind of the.
We'll just
shittiness.
say hypocrisy.
I think like the shittiness of like sending your dad a text telling them because they don't believe the same thing that you don't want to come to their house anymore.
Yeah.
So like, is that some of the things that like kind of going like, even maybe if it's just subconsciously, and she's like, you know what? Let's see if Dad knows about the PS5 restocks. Like, I don't know.
Like for
Whatever it is, like, I'll
yeah.
take it. It was good.
Yeah.
So, had a nice
Oh,
little
yeah.
chat there.
That's great.
So,
Mhm.
Great.
but yeah, so
And then
that, and then kind of had things, so that was with kind of things tanked there, leading to dropping the lease and moving in with Amanda. And then the same day that texted me, I ended up basically
was also her birthday.
coincidentally that was also 14th birthday.
Mhm.
So that was weird.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of extra shitty that I'm like, huh, like on her 14th birthday, she basically sends me a shunning text.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, that was fun.
Mhm.
But
It
so
is what it is.
Yeah. Earlier that same day, my mom and I had kind of been going back and forth about it over some of the ways that she had been, for lack of a better word, talking to me and the way she had kind of been treating me in text messages back and forth related to my girls and some of her plans for wanting to take them on vacation. And so I finally was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just not comfortable letting you talk to me that way without just like just treating me less than human like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to allow that anymore. And I'm going to have to think about, these travel plans for the summer and things like that, because I'm not entirely certain how I feel about, my children being exposed to that kind of behavior. And that just and then things just went south. And basically, long story short, at the end, I ended up just texting my mom along, basically saying, you know what, unless we can have just a normal relationship, I don't care what you believe. You don't like what I believe shouldn't bother you. We can just be okay with each other. And if we can't, please don't contact me. I basically cut her off. I was like, I can't take it anymore. And for my own mental health, I'm putting these boundaries in place that this is the way it's going to be moving forward. Otherwise, I'm not comfortable having a relationship with you, is basically the way I put it to her. And
Yeah.
I don't know, she responded basically to throw it all back at me again. I don't know, half hour, hourly, I don't know, a little while later.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, whatever. And like I said, it's 10 days ago. Like I haven't responded. So, and I even mentioned it earlier, like now that we're moving up there, just because I still feel it's the right thing to do, I'm just going to shoot her a text and be like, hey, here's my, in case of emergency, mailing address, here's where I'm at. If, emergency contact, here's Amanda's phone number. Like,
yeah,
take care.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But,
shitty and shouldn't have to happen, but it does.
Yeah.
To a lot of us. And at least you had the balls to just be like, no, I'm done with that. That's not okay.
Yeah, like I don't want to put up with that shit.
No.
So.
You shouldn't have to.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, like you said, we kind of, at this point, we just kind of like focus on positives and move forward with the things that are certain and that are going to be there. And so that's kind of what we're doing. And so like with positives, things like that, we're taking vacation. We talked about going tubing and stuff with the boys. And then the week after that, we're taking off. I think we mentioned it briefly. We're going to go out to Colorado and we're going to go to Red Rocks over the 4th, check out a concert there. We're going to see Blues Traveler. And I don't remember. Actually, I think at that time when we talked last, and I know we talked about it, we were going to maybe get tattoos.
Yeah, we talked about a little bit last time.
But she hadn't gotten back to me. And so I actually, I kind of felt bad and everything, but she did get back to me. And unfortunately, she had found out her mom had cancer and was actually the morning that we had talked about getting tattoos. She's like, that's actually the morning that I scheduled my mom's surgery for. And I was like, oh shit, I'm sorry.
Just do your, take care of your
don't
stuff.
worry. She's like, if we back it up from noon to 4 p.m., will that work? I'm like, yeah, she's like, I just need to get my mom back home before I can come back to the shop. I'm like, whatever works. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So no, we're gonna get that done.
And we're going to the races.
And we're going to races. We're actually gonna have to haul ass out there.
Yeah, because I work Friday.
She's gonna get off work 5, 6 o'clock Friday.
I don't know. I don't know yet.
I mean, on average, that's usually.
I don't
5-ish.
really have like a definite end time because of
No.
the way my work is.
So you get
It's like when you
But,
get it
yeah.
done, then you can go.
But on average, it seems like you're off 5-ish.
Yeah.
So
so you're not
Well,
you drive all night.
yeah,
Yeah.
because we're going to Vandermeer Speedway, just southwest of Denver, the following afternoon.
It's like 13 hours.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're taking off, and we're actually meeting my niece, my brother's oldest daughter from a previous relationship out there, Savannah. So we're gonna go hang out with her and her boyfriend. We're gonna go to the races. It was kind of cool. You know, she was like, "Would you guys be interested?" And here's where it's at. And I was like, and we kind of talked about it, like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. And so then I was like, hey, where'd you get tickets? Like, so we can get like somewheres in the same area.
Yeah.
We ended up getting the 2 seats next to them.
Oh, nice.
So I'm like, oh, well, this is perfect. So no problem.
Yeah.
And we got it in kind of the VIP area. So there's a couple free drinks and free meal and air conditioning. And then it's like jet car racing is what we're, yeah.
That's sick.
So yeah, that'll be fun.
Absolutely.
So we're doing that. That's
In 2 weeks.
that's the first day, and then Red Rocks tattoos the next day, and then that Tuesday the 6th we're going back to my old hometown in Nebraska where I grew up, stopping to see my family in eastern Colorado on the way through. I got like an aunt and uncle, cousin, his wife and kids, my grandma, my cousin Crystal. So I don't. So yeah, we're gonna see some family, and then we're gonna camp at the lake there for about 3 days and lay on the beach and get some hammocks laid out, and
Can't be
Yeah.
a good hammocking.
it's a good time.
That's what I'm supposed to be doing this weekend.
I know. How's your butt? Like,
I don't know. I'm not really sure. I
No.
hope he's doing it. Well, I mean, he was
Hopefully
supposed to come
nothing
over
serious.
tonight and throw axes.
okay,
So,
so he's vertical.
yeah. Hopefully, yeah.
Well, yeah, he didn't show up, so
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's not here yet.
Sure, I'm not missing anything
So,
here.
hopefully he's doing
So-
okay, but we'll figure it out.
yeah. But that's it. That's kind of what's new in our lives. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll be back in a few weeks. We're just gonna do. You got anything else, or is that
I
kind
think that
of no?
covered
that's
it.
pretty much the list.
Did that summarize the missing episode enough?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, I
so.
think so.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so a few weeks we will be back. I think June, like the weekend of like July 16th, 14th, 16th, something like that. Second, third weekend in July, we'll be back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
With a little bit new format again. So think of questions, things you guys would like to talk about, and
And I'll address.
well, that's true. That'll be a fun Paradise one, so that'll just be recorded.
Yeah, and,
But keep them in mind for Catsups coming up.
yeah, and for the next Catsup too, like I can then address a little bit more the details of that Facebook post that I made.
Yeah.
That mainly old classmates responded to. So
Mhm.
I'll cover that then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right on.
But yeah, I mean that's it. So
Yeah,
That's all I got.
me
let's,
too.
let's get you back outside, drunk in a pool.
Yeah. Oh, it's pissing time is what
That's-
it is.
yeah.
Is it
It's time
is
to
it making you want to cry
Yeah.
again?
It's,
Cut one
it's
off.
stuffing up my sinuses.
Ah.
I'm trying to keep it in.
You don't have to cry about it.
Oh no, I wouldn't be crying. I'm pissed.
Oh, Gross.
Gross!
Nice.
Don't. We gotta. Okay, we're done here.
Okay.
Don't say that.
That makes me feel dirty. Well, we're gonna head out. Happy trails.
We'll see ya,
Bye.
people. Oh man.
Oh God.